Junkies. Hey, what's up, party people? Welcome to the Honest Trailer commentaries for It 1990 version. Yeah. This is the show where we talk about our... Quiet on the set, you guys. I'm trying to intro. I'm sorry. The hats are talking. So this is a show where we talk about the thought process behind the Honest Trailer. And if you stick around, we get to some deleted scenes and comments from viewers like you. Now, speak. Lon, Joe.
I liked 1990. That was a good year.
It was a fine year for miniseries. I think the main insight that we had in the room, I think we started off from is, just don't do this for TV. You don't have the money, you don't have the time, you don't have the resources. You can't really scare people. It's 9 p.m. It's ABC. Just don't do it.
It's a 1,000-page book.
Yeah, you just don't need. This is not the one to adapt for television.
But Tim Curry's great, though. That's the thing. It's like he's the one thing that people remember. And why I think why a lot of people remember it being better than it is, because it's a bit of a slog. It's not a bit of a slog.
Yeah, I think Tim Curry's had a whole career out of being like the best part of terrible movies.
I almost have to
one other one.
Congo.
The
Talking Gorilla.
Too smart.
Amy.
Yeah,
was the best part of Congo.
No.
Unless he did the voice of the
his ridiculous
gorilla.
Hungarian accent.
Amy all floats.
The best part of Congo was diamonds that shoot lasers and the line, "These monkeys are smart, too smart." Those were the best parts of
Congo. But like Ernie Hudson also. I would say Ernie Hudson and Tim Curry are vying for the best thing in Congo award.
Now, I almost have to recuse myself from all It-related content because I am on the record and famously known as someone who does not find clowns frightening in the least. I find them sad. My heart breaks for a clown. When it's trying to be scary, I just go, "Oh, a clown! You're out of work." trying to drum up some scares. It's just
you go right to capturing the Freedmans. Right past Pennywise and into
full Patch Adams. Just clowns aren't scary to me. So Tim Curry's take on this also was kind of like a Bronx blue collar out of work clown who was just relied on popping up in shower drains somewhere. But I know if it hit you in 1990, this would probably freak you out.
But I mean, I think this to me feels like the start of the clowns are terrifying thing. Like that was an 80s trope. So I feel like
Pee-wee's Big Adventure was the start of one of the stuff.
This was kind of like riding the, hey, we've just discovered that clowns can be scary wave.
I found that
killer
out
clowns in outer space.
When I was 3. And I find clowns extraordinarily disconcerting.
I'm wondering if
it's because it's like the makeup, but when you get close, you see like the humanity underneath, but it's like covered in this unreal.
Clowns aren't real, Dan. Don't worry.
Well, I'm wondering if people who were sort of coming of age in the 80s looked back at their Halloween costumes as children from the 50s and 60s when their parents dressed them as clowns and they looked horrifying. Yeah. And that's what really like drummed it up. They're like, my God, what happened?
Because I do feel like it's generational. Like kids in the 50s weren't like scared of clowns. I don't think that was a thing. They're right. They like the circus comes to town. It's exciting.
It was probably the Pagliacci joke where things started to turn. But doctor, I am Pennywise.
The existential crisis.
So Rorschach is who you blame for scary clowns. Got it.
Regardless, we've done the new It. Now we're doing the old It.
90s It.
90s It. There's some boring background information we could talk about because we had written this for a while and then kind of put it in a drawer and then brought it back out. Not that important, except the first draft. It's an example of how far Joe has come as a writer. Because
it's not good.
We dusted off the first draft and then we're like, come on. And then the second draft. Current Joe.
Yeah.
Mwah.
Yeah.
Chef's fingers.
2 years ago, Joe. Real piece of shit.
Real bottom of the barrel shitbag.
If there's somebody I could do without, it's that guy.
Why did you hire that guy?
Kernel of corn in that shit sandwich, and now he's all corn.
Yep. Spencer J. Gilbert, the guy that can find the corn.
Glad we stuck it out. Let's watch the Honest trailer for It 1990.
Had to remind Kevin to put the TV.
On November 18th, 1990, tune into ABC at 8 p.m. Eastern for America's Funniest Videos with Bob Saget. Then at 8:30, it's America's Funniest People with Dave Coulier. Then at 9, gather the kids for part 1 of the miniseries about the clown that will eat your children. Then Tuesday at 8, settle in for a night of Who's the Boss, followed by Head of the Class. And at 9, it's part 2 of the miniseries about the clown that will eat your children. It.
Pause. So we did do the research, and that was actually the lineup. It was America's Funniest Home Videos and America's Funniest People before part 1.
Now, what was America's Funniest People?
I'm familiar with that. I'm surprised that more people. Yeah, America's Funniest People was
part of the America's Funniverse.
Yeah, it was a companion to America's Funniest Home Videos, and
so if you were on Full House, you got to host a show called America's Funniest Blank.
America's Funniest Home Videos was first.
Yes,
and then that had like 2 very successful seasons. That
was YouTube.
Yeah, and they were like, oh, we got a hit. Let's get more videos and another Full House cast member.
Right. So the hook was with America's Funniest People that it wasn't like accidental. It wasn't like, oh, he fell down a hill. It was like people trying to be wacky and goofy.
So YouTube.
Yeah, it was basically proto YouTube. And they would also,
YouTube.
like the big hook around it was they would go to like malls and stuff and do appearances, and you would show up and say, I'm funny. And
now, it really was a lot of like, I'm double jointed, or I can do this funny thing with my face. Like, it really was a lot of that.
But the moment there was any kind of story arc, then it got shunted back to Funniest Videos.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you really popped on Funniest People.
Yeah. Well, and then Dave Coulier also had a recurring character named the Jackalope.
Oh, I forgot about the Jackalope.
You're really taking me back.
Yeah, he did this voice like this. And the Jackalope was like this stuffed rabbit or something, but it had antlers taped onto it.
It's a cryptozoological character.
It was like a first person, like the camera was mounted on its head, and it's like, well, the Jackalope, and I'm going to get you.
Oh, to be a voice-based comic in the 90s.
Oh, man. It was like the dream vehicle for Dave
I got real pumped anytime the Jackalope came on. The bone I have to pick with America's Funniest Videos / Got Talent is that they... people go, oh, well, YouTube ruined America's Funniest Home Videos, but America's Funniest Home Videos ruined the sports blooper videotape genre.
Ooh,
because America's Funniest Videos, before the networks were like, let's take their money. Like, you used to order those. You used to order away for those things, man. Someone made those.
I loved a good bloopers VHS.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
but then
just 3 outfielders running into each other and a sound effect that goes. Woo!
Yeah, but then you wouldn't have Bob Saget doing hilarious voices as
commentary
the
in between.
The videos.
Oh, I'm gonna catch the
baseball. And then new episodes of Who's the Boss and Head of the Class led into
Head of the Class, baby.
2 nights later.
Nice.
So that is an accurate reflection of the ABC primetime lineup.
Thank God, Dan, your apartment is full of TV guides from 1992.
No, I keep them all. I have them going back to 1987.
Not a hoarder.
And there's also a shot Stan's wife watching TV that we used. Yeah. She's watching Perfect Strangers, which was also part of ABC's lineup at this time.
Balky joke later.
Right.
Let's see when.
Pre-Disney corporate synergy. Keep going for ABC.
Move over, Jared Leto, because it's time to bow down to the real king of murder clowns, Tim Curry.
I am the eater of worlds and of children.
A serial-killing demon clown from the Bronx?
I got a balloon for you.
Who, due to network censorship guidelines, expresses his evil through bad teeth and mild YouTube pranks. He's basically Logan Paul in clown face.
Blood Balloon Prank 9.
But even more horrifying.
I love Annette O'Toole's line delivery there. Why is it so mean? Just like a young person who's been bullied.
Picking the flowers. It's so melodramatic.
Yeah. But I also, this to me was like, I think we did a really good job, or we did the best job that we could, but that's the hardest thing to capture about this movie, is that Pennywise is not doing anything scary. He's usually goofing around.
Well, it's the implication.
Right. It's like, I know that the clown's not there, so the fact that a clown is appearing before my eyes is scary.
Yeah.
But nothing de facto he's doing is scary at all, which is a big stumbling block.
It's like something that
he just wants to be friends.
Yeah, I'm saying it really does feel a lot of the time you could play the scenes without the context of this is a horror movie, and it does feel like he's just trying to entertain.
Change the soundtrack, and it's Joe's favorite show, Impractical Jokers.
Like that part with Harry Anderson that we just saw where he's in the library. That's 98%. Hey, I'm a clown. What I'm going to do shtick. You want to be friends?
One of the Impractical Jokers, Joe, you can tell me which one's your favorite, would definitely do the moving drains in the shower thing, sneaking into one of them in the locker room and moving the shower drain around.
That's giving Impractical Jokers far too much credit. The Impractical Jokers shower drain gag would be there would be some people taking a shower, and they'd be like, hey, we just sent Joey in to tell people that one of the showers is spraying pee-pee. And then he walks into the people taking a shower, and he's like, one of the showers is spraying pee-pee, and then it cuts back to the other Impractical Jokers going...
They're so good.
Oh. How do they come up with new material?
I know, right? That doesn't sound at all practical.
But anyway, that's what Pennywise is doing. He's telling people that the showers are going to spray pee on them.
Yeah.
So the whole movie, it's 3 hours.
Then they cut away to Tim Curry giggling in the booth.
Just made me he's so good.
Yeah, he's so good.
He's so good. Like, he's amazing in this movie.
He's having fun.
Tim Curry's enjoying himself, and he seems like he gets what the movie is and should be, whereas everybody else is really going for it.
Meaty
soap
dramatic
opera,
roles.
Melodrama.
Yeah, like he gets that it's like a schlocky B-horror.
All right, let's keep going.
But even more horrifying is this vampire clown's true form, a flood lamp.
Good on them for not blinking.
Yeah.
A spooky flood lamp. Who says Stephen King doesn't know how to write an ending? Return to the 90s version of what the movie's 80s were. The 50s. A time when cops were Irish.
Look at this mess!
Oh, Faith and Fedora!
The bullies were murderers. And the fat
pause.
kids...
The bullies, I guess in the newer It too, are so much more terrifying to me than the clown.
Yeah.
They're like a real tangible threat.
Yeah.
Everyone's got a knife. I guess back then you just always had a Whitman knife or a stabbing knife. And they constantly are threatening children with murder.
Yeah, the bullies are outright homicidal right from the start in this one.
Now, full disclosure, I often don't remember the book because I get to a point with a lot of Stephen King books where I'm just like, oh, what are you doing? And like, I'm like
because it's like
all of a sudden the
4
book is like a child trying to explain YouTube to its grandpa, and I'm grandpa, and I'm like, oh.
No, it's more Stephen King trying to explain his startup ideas on a 4th bag of blow, but in book form.
100%. But I think that's the point. Like, I think he's just like a psychic vampire-y thing, so he uses the bullies to scare them.
Sure. In the book, it's not quite as clear.
But then also, he's a spider that can kill you? I don't remember.
But he can't kill the kids because the power of friendship.
They do a little bit more of it in the movie, or at least the first movie. I haven't seen the second one, where it's like the whole town of Derry is infected by this evil presence. Mm-hmm. And there's one scene where Bev remembers, like, that guy didn't help me out. It's like something's wrong with everybody. Yeah, like that's the idea. Is like the bullies are more evil. Everybody's more sister, and everybody's
feeding off of it,
and everybody's looking the other way, ignoring evil in front of them because that's just life in Derry, you know.
Yeah, that would be a very interesting thing for them to have chosen to explore.
Yes, yeah. Maybe instead of
they may or may not choose to go into.
Maybe instead of the
3-hour sequel,
18th bike riding scene, we could have maybe. Yeah.
The sequel, by the way, at Chapter 2, as long as this entire miniseries. Literally.
We'll see. Wow. Dan's the only one who's seen it, but reviews are mixed. We'll see. All right, keep going.
And the fat kids were skinny. And meet the Losers Club.
Not a fan.
No, really. If you're under 30, meet these people for the first time in your life. John Ritter.
He's made great strides
the guy from Night Court, the original Lana Lang, the dad from Sister, and these guys.
Oh, okay, pause.
But
we'll talk about it when 90% of the comment section.
Put a pin on these guys, particularly the guy in the middle. We'll be coming back to it.
Yeah, our old-ass audience got real mad. We have a great silent old majority.
Yeah, I had no idea.
I think they're older than us. Like, I thought we were talking to children, but it turns out that there's a lot of...
It's all my parents' church friends.
Yeah.
These are the people every week that are like, do parallax view.
No, we really riled up the...
Right, sorry.
Why have you not done the Cannonball Run series yet?
The Philadelphia story is a fine example.
The parish of St. Thomas in Louisville is really riled up right now.
God, it must have sucked to be an old nerd when like you got this passionate about a crappy old sitcom. We'll talk about that later.
You just triggered them all over again. We'll get back to it.
Whoa.
Wasn't a sitcom. We'll get back
Whatever. Little House on the Who Gives a... Keep going.
But don't forget their childhood counterparts. Guy from Sequest.
I thought that was a dated reference.
And everyone else. Oh, come on. Ted Danson wasn't available? Couldn't book a young NPH? Pinchot? Bacula? Alf?
You're
After all the clown on kid stuff, actually remember.
There's a clown in the sewer, Willie!
So forgettable.
I like that shot of
Even the
it
main
in a Buster
characters
Rhymes
forgot
video.
about it.
How much do you
Weird
remember?
fish
I
islands.
don't remember much of it at all.
I can't remember much of anything, and when I try, it kind of clouds over.
Where the less interesting adult version of the Losers
review of
Club
the
spends most of the time wishing they weren't there, eating Chinese food, staring off into space, dicking around on a bike, and finally facing off against a dumb spider who lives in a hobbit hole.
South Park.
Good
Crab
side for it,
people.
Chapter 2, in theaters now.
Clown monster.
Ugh. Good luck, Bill Hader. So revisit a noble effort that was doomed from the start with a super low budget, the constraints of TV censors and aspect ratios, and 3 hours to tell a 1,000-page story. Just stop before you get started next time, okay? If you can't afford the Cosmic Turtle or even a decent cave
Pause.
That's in case you didn't see it. Spoiler alert. There was Alan. One of the more hidden Allens.
Okay.
Look on the top right side of your screen. You will see Alan zooming. But there he was.
He's gone.
Where was he? Are you
Hang
sure?
on, go back. Yep. Hang on. Right, you can barely see
you
him.
Alan
in the-
gaslighting us?
No, you can barely see him against the star field in the
It's like a magic eye,
upper
like-
right quadrant of the
Unfocus
screen.
your eyes, Spencer.
I think
I don't
Sailboat.
see him.
Oh, it's a. No, you idiot! It's a schooner.
Would you like for me to point? Here, I'll point it. Here. This is for the audience at home
Okay.
that can't see this monitor.
Great. Perfect. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you, Dan.
Right there.
Thanks, Dan. All right. So, is that easy enough? People at home, you
A
got
schooner
it.
is a sailboat, stupid head.
We were able to get it after 5 minutes of staring and Dan pointing at it.
No, I
so
definitely see him.
what's your
Sorry,
problem?
Kevin. And that is Maturin?
Maturin.
Maturin?
Yeah.
The
Maturin,
turtle
the
upon
turtle
who's
who-
back,
It's a whole thing.
which is also like a stupid riddle, and it's also Discworld, which is great. And
It's also Paul Bettany's name in Master and Commander. Stephen Maturin. I never knew that.
Turtleverse
until this
confirmed.
moment.
yeah.
There also turtles play a large. Isn't that what he wanted to go see too? Was the
Yeah,
turtle?
Well, he wants to go to the Galapagos and see all
yeah.
the animals
So,
there. Yeah, so we're
Stephen King confirmed.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Keep going.
Turtle or even a decent cave spider, don't adapt it, or the Dark Tower, or the Stand, or Langoliers, or really anything Stephen King.
Should have called Ellen.
Starring
I hear there's a cat around here.
Frank Court, Dairy Queen, Mole, Seven's Company,
Goldmember.
Flashback Face.
I think these were the audition. They didn't even read.
No.
Yeah.
Just show us your best remembering something face.
I remember my time on Melmac.
These drains are
Face
full of
touching.
pee-pee.
The Archmonics are coming. Look out.
That's just so much.
That's right.
That's
So
one
much.
other hand to come
Yeah,
in.
there's so much.
No joke here. Just a moment to appreciate how good of an actor Jonathan Brandis
Nobody's
was.
sidekick.
Respect.
Kill it.
So good. The kids again are the best part.
Scott.
Yeah.
Easily.
I present to you this year's winner of the very prestigious Architect Award for Architecting.
Oh no, Ben. Your architect award.
When I drink champagne, I always drink champagne.
Showgirls.
Back tonight and coming soon.
See, we
the
thought
honest
these were all
trailer
way
for
too old references.
whatever this movie is.
As of this writing, Richie is still knocking him dead. He's got a part in a movie.
Pause. What is happening?
It's gonna be a blockbuster for sure.
What you did to my duck.
They're fighting with.
That's a rubber chicken, right?
I can't even tell what it is. It looks like a inner tube or something.
My working theory is that this is a silent film, like a comedic version of The Artist or something like that, where they're doing like a remake of a Marx Brothers or an even earlier thing where like it doesn't matter what they're saying, they're gonna cut to a black and white screen that says like, my duck.
I don't even think they've got that box
No.
full of fake snow
That's
out
in
of the
frame.
shot.
No,
Like,
that's
that's
so
gonna be in the
frame.
frame.
Unless they're filming their torsos only.
Yeah, like
Also, are they in front of the Miami Vice set?
Yeah, no,
Like, what is that, sunset?
Nothing.
There's a palm tree not in front of the set. That's obviously
Yeah,
there
the
for
cameras
that
are pointed
camera.
in the wrong direction.
It would have been. It's it's difficult.
It's a tracking shot.
You got to remember, the people who made...
It's shooting off the set.
The people who made this miniseries know how to make it. They made this. They know how to make something. So, like, you have to try to make something this incoherent.
Wow.
Like, it would have been much easier to just have them at a table or something. Like, why?
It's so weird that I do wonder if there was like an alt thing where the other guy turns around and he has a red nose and you do the thriller ending and then it's over. Yeah.
Like, this is all a fantasy playing out.
Yeah.
He just has to star in, like, terrible Lewis and Clark comedies.
But I want to challenge our viewers who, instead of just complaining about, we'll get to it, put it back up, JT, is treat this like a New Yorker caption contest. two adult men jousting with tennis rackets with fake snow being poured on them. You write that caption. Yeah. You make it make sense. That's our challenge.
Quite a challenge.
We'll read it out next week.
Make it a line from Alf.
We just had to watch it on Australia.
I would have preferred you brought a cat.
All right, never mind. Contest over. All right, keep going.
Dairy stories to tell in the dark. I don't see what the big deal is. This happens almost every time I get my Panda Express on.
Yeah, the young chicken with bugs. Yeah. It's pretty good.
You guys went with the Panda Express. I feel like P.F. Chang's is my go-to. I'm going to make a joke about bad Chinese food.
Yeah.
I actually enjoy Panda Express. It's more just going for the joke.
Right.
I agree. Like, I would have thought P.F. Chang's.
Panda Express has a delightful new item that's like a hot Szechuan. They're getting on a hot chicken phase. They get like the hot Szechuan strips.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Good.
I love it.
I loved it. The taste was incredible. Yeah. But the smells that came out of my insides, out of my mouth afterwards were unlike anything I've ever experienced in my life. It was like a curse.
It was like the sink.
It was delicious.
Yeah. Every 27 years now, that's going to happen.
Came bubbling back up.
Gonna have to get 7 friends together.
Yeah.
It was delicious, though. I agree. It was.
I'll tell you, after I ate that, it did not float. All right,
wrap this up.
Let's.
I've got indigestion from this hot chicken. I need a cat to wash this down. Brian, tell Willie I need some milk from the store.
What's impressive is not just that you could do the voice well, but that you're capable of drawing on enough Alf references.
Yeah, you're on like Alf reference number 4.
Yeah, like
Kate, what time do you get home from work?
Cats and Melmac, and I'm done. Those are the only 2 that I know. And Gordon. His real name is Gordon Shumway.
Gordon Shumway.
Yeah.
All right, keep going.
You've also managed to give this an arc.
It's
impressive.
Now, as you wait for Chapter 2 to take you back to Clown Town, you can't help but wonder, what if it was low budget, made for TV, and bad? Why would you even wonder that? Pfft, weirdos. It, the low budget made for TV bad one.
That was because
that was the original intro.
Yeah.
But then just the
ABC
in
promo.
1990 was
so funny.
That originally came after the title, and we agreed. Like, I think we should just put that up.
There you go. Yeah. Joke explained. Let's keep going.
Starring schlocky horror picture show.
They care, Spencer.
The Mocking Dead.
That's what they're here for.
Harry and the Anderson.
You went for it, man.
Justice for Bev. Wait, is that the Troll 2 guy? Oh, no, it's not.
Oh, that would have gotten me.
I have a The It Crowd. The Day the Clown Died.
Some Jerry Lewis reference.
Yeah,
I guess
coming soon.
Done well.
Yeah, would have gone over with our fans. Our
60-year-old
fan base. Geriatric fans.
Yeah, big bellhop fans.
Isn't The Day the Clown Died going to come out soon?
That's It was like 2023 or something.
There's some proviso that he had that after a certain time after he died, I think he could. Or yes, no. I think we will see it.
We'll do the honest trailer for that.
Yeah,
I feel like we should.
We missed an opportunity to say it stinks. There you go.
Stinks. Oh man, another timely.
Got him.
I mean, we legitimately worried that the Night Court references were too old.
Yeah. So we should address the middle-aged elephant in the room, which is that
The boomer in the room.
The boom in the room. So the entire comment section is about how that guy played John Boy Walton.
Richard Thomas, who plays the older Bill Denbrough in the film, there he is in the middle. He was John Boy
lumped
Walton
him in with this guy
on classic CBS drama series The Waltons, which ran for 9 years, starting in 1972.
So you heard of it?
Went off the air in 1978.
No,
5 years before.
1980 something.
It said, when I looked, it said he played him from 1971 to 1978.
Well, no, because he was John Boy disappears for the last few years.
Right, that's what I mean.
Show.
He stopped playing John Boy.
Yes, in like 79.
4 decades
Before
ago.
we were born.
Before
I was 1 year old.
Lon was 1. I was -5. I don't understand.
I mean, this is like
they've just been lurking. Like, this is a huge fandom. And look, we're not here to criticize anybody's fandom. We are just doing this out of a complete ignorance that there was this huge...
In fact, make sure you check out the Waltons fandom community, which I'm sure is alive and thriving on fandom.com.
I definitely knew that Richard Thomas was John Boy Walton.
I had no clue.
I knew that, but like... Come on. It's such an old reference. It didn't even occur to me that we should make an honest trailer joke about it, honestly.
The Godzilla thing I saw coming. Because I know that there's a lot of Godzilla.
Sure.
I never in my wildest dreams believed that we would be set upon by a rabid pack of
Brendan Allen,
Waltons
did you
fans.
guys seriously gloss over the fact John Boy Walton was in this? Zach's audio. They said nothing about Richard Thomas having played John Boy. I see Screen Junkies employees don't watch good prime top tier TV shows like the Waltons.
It's not that people are like, gotcha, because people like to do that with these videos. It's like,
we missed stuff.
You missed this, or you didn't mention this random thing that is what I think about, and why didn't you think about it? It's the level of vitriol and anger.
It's like they've been waiting for their opportunity.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's like every other comment.
They're going to do the 1990 It. Finally, we'll get some John Boy Walton jokes like we've been all waiting for all this time.
I will never worry about another one of our references being.
Yeah, no, that's it. I hope you get ready, you guys.
Now, look, someone donated $10,000 generously for us to do all of Doctor Who. If you Venmo me personally $5,000,
okay,
I will do a bootleg, unofficial. Doesn't include our editing team or our voiceover or the actually talented writers, and I will write and make the Waltons Honest trailer.
I'm so happy you volunteered for
5K.
that, because the Waltons was on for like 10 years.
I
And that's
know.
back when TV seasons were like 24
yeah.
episodes
And there were like
long.
3 or 4
so have fun
movies.
with
I
that.
know. I used to watch it with my parents. I had to sit through the Waltons with my parents.
I'm not making fun of people that like the Waltons. It's just
I am a
shocking
little.
to me that in such great numbers they came like they're just shaming us for not making a 40-year-old television reference.
Yeah.
Like,
hey, that primetime Depression era 80s drama, you bastards. Like,
even if it was like Greg Brady, maybe even like, oh, if we'd said Barry Williams, it was Greg Brady.
But we definitely have had classic TV stars on and not mentioned the classic TV show they
Some
were on.
about
and
John
people
Boy.
don't like lose their mind.
If anything, like Richard Thomas would be like, hey, he's still working. He's on The Americans. Like,
right.
Okay.
That was the Richard Thomas reference I thought that maybe we would
Maybe because we mentioned Night Court and Alf, they were angry that we did not.
Well, and I wish everyone else could see like the A of this B and C story, where we were all sitting around like, all of these jokes are so old. Like every time we were trying, like no one's gonna give a shit about
even John
any
Ritter.
of these references.
Yeah,
we were like, does anyone even care about sweet John Ritter? I don't know.
I hope so.
Yeah, same. But and like Jonathan Brandis, we were like, does anyone remember Sequest? We were like pouring over all of them.
It's the reason
and
we
everyone's
put tropes in the starring this time, because we were like, people aren't going to get references to all the old movies and shows these guys were in.
So we just have to adjust our expectations of our audience, who I always assumed were stupid babies, but it turns out that they're actually angry old people too.
And also the stupid elderly are out there as well.
Except for you. You know what I'm talking about.
This shocked me. I thought that I was sure that it was going to be, because it's usually something. I was sure that it was going to be people that thought, and we actually went back and re-recorded, that we hadn't given Tim Curry enough credit for how great he is in the movie, and we went back and we beefed that up. But I still thought, if you'd have asked me, I would have said people are going to be upset.
But it's usually
we
some
didn't give Tim Curry enough
Gen Z
props.
stuff like, oh, you didn't say Kim Possible was the greatest animated series of all time. They're like, this is coming from. I did not see the other half coming.
I did not see this coming.
Yeah, no, I guess they just don't they don't have stuff to be angry with us about usually.
Yeah.
Like we don't get the old people upset with us every week.
So next week we're going after Rascal Scooters.
I'm going so hard on Grand Theft
catheters,
Grand Funk Railroad.
You guys be
references.
careful, because like if you keep coming at us like this, we will not come home over the holidays to program your VCR. We won't do it anymore.
We're done.
Yeah, not showing. You figure out this DVD player yourself.
Motion smoothing is just going to stay on.
Yep. I don't care what Tom
You're going to live with it.
Yep, John Boy's going to look like he's on a weird old soap opera.
So the other,
He kind of was.
The other half of the comment section is the our perennial favorite. An hour apart from CinemaSins? Coincidence?
It's not a coincidence. It's because the movie's coming out.
It is and it isn't. Yeah, it's like we upload the same day. Like they upload on Tuesdays, and
we do too.
We do too, and
a couple hours before we do.
Yeah, and look at the movie calendar. It's not that hard to figure out.
It's like when the movie, either it's when the new movies come out on home video or digital, or it's like a tie-in to a classic
And that's
movie.
not to say that we don't take fan requests into account. We see what you guys are doing, but then we look at the calendar and look for a place where it makes
works.
the most sense. And I assume that the people at CinemaSins do the same thing.
Yeah, and then once we make that decision, we look to the rest of the room at the YouTube Illuminati, stab a goat.
Yep.
Mr. Sunday's Movies gets to drink the blood first.
Yeah.
And then we all plan our video calendar.
Yeah. All hail the algorithm. All right. Finally, D-Tay writes, Tim Curry will always be my favorite Pennywise. What is yours / what distinguishes the two from each other? Tim Curry versus Skarsgård.
There's only one other choice, really.
Yeah.
Or the band.
Or I'm going to go with the band.
Seminal.
Because neither clown sings Bro Hymn. So if I could get Tim Curry to give me a whoa, then he'd automatically be my number one.
I mean, I think
that's completely fair.
I think that's very fair. I think Skarsgård, he brings a lot more, like, unnatural alienness to it. Like, Tim Curry's basically playing a clown, like a man who's a clown, and he's just like an evil, sadistic clown. Until you find out he's like an underground crab spider monster. Skarsgård, the whole time, he's like doing weird stuff with his voice and with his face, and he's trying to seem like not human. I find that more outright frightening and sinister and unsettling, I have to say, for me.
I think I'm the only person that didn't really love the new It a whole lot. And I thought that really there's only one scene where Skarsgård got to perform to me that wasn't just, jump scare, I'm a leper. And that was when the kid falls in the house and he like breaks his arm and he's on the ground and he's like marching towards him. And that was like one of the one scenes where they're not just like, let's just pile a bunch of effects on Pennywise. And he actually like gets to perform for an extended period of time and like just be scary, just being Skarsgård. So I don't know. I'm gonna go Curry, but also just because he's great in Loaded Weapon 1.
Fair enough.
It's true.
It's kind of like James Bond for me. It's like I love Sean Connery, how he played James Bond. I equally also, for different reasons, love the early Daniel Craig movies and how he played. It's like
what if
two
Connery
different
was
takes.
Pennywise?
Yeah. I love Bill Skarsgård. I've always been weird.
Welcome to Derry.
We all float down here. Ooh, I've got a balloon for you.
Hello, little girl.
Give me that shellboat and then I'll slap you.
But only with an open palm.
Yeah,
Not with a fist.
feel my open hand.
But I've never gotten the complaint that the new It is like all jump scary, because it's not. Like, I'm so sensitive to jump scares, and they're, compared to other horror movies, there are very relatively few like there's a lot of people I think that look at the new It movies and are just like, it's too many jump scares. And like but it doesn't really have that many jump scares. That's what I like about it, is it's legitimately creepy and scary. It doesn't rely on that. They both are great. It's hard for me to say like this one's better than the other, because I love how both of them play the character, and it's not like one's derivative of another one as far as like.
Yeah, I think that's what I really appreciate is like they totally go different ways with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, there you go.
I never looked at Bill Skarsgård and was like, oh, he's just doing Tim Curry.
You know
Like,
what's weird
he did
is
his own.
Did any of you guys watch Castle Rock, the Hulu streaming series? It was pretty good, but he's also in it and playing another, like, he looks human, but he's also like a creepy Stephen King monster, and he's really good at it. He's just got this.
He's very good at it.
He's just got this, like, something's off about this guy, but I can't put my finger on it vibe to it.
But I think we can all agree that the scariest clown is the one in the painting that my grandma got me, that my mom made me keep on my wall every Christmas when they'd come to visit.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
You were like little Bart with the clown bed.
Yeah, was not happy.
Can't sleep, clown leave.
Yeah.
If you should die,
did not help that I would take it down before I went to bed, and at night my mom would come in, see that, get very upset, put it back. I'd wake up and it was back, and that was bad.
Oh, it explains so much.
Yeah, it really does. Corner piece.
All right. Well, thank y'all for watching the Honest Trailer commentary for It. Come back next week when we'll be taking you all over the world, right? Am I not getting my weeks mixed up?
No, yeah.
No, you're right.
So we can show you guys some fantastic sights.
It'll be magical.
Well, good night, Spencer.
Good night.
We're gonna
do the bit.
Remember, like, good night, Spencer. Good night, Dan.
Oh, from the Walton.
Good night, Lon. Good night.
No,
Good night,
that
Doc.
show will be retired to the dustbin of history if I have anything to say
John
about it based on the fandom. Sorry. Bye.
Well, boomers.